Hi, welcome to another episode of MYD Global. I'm your host, Leanne Hackman-Carty. Are you an emergency management service or product provider? Then stay tuned as I talk to Scott Cameron with Emergency Management Logistics Canada about a new platform they're developing and how you can get involved. Hey, Scott, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you, Leon?
Good. Hey, before we get started, can you just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Scott Cameron. I'm the president and CEO of emlcanada.ca, a new online directory to build a emergency management community here in the country.
In Canada?
Across Canada, absolutely.
So I understand that one of the first times you really got involved with the disasters was in Alberta, the Pine Lake tornado. Can you tell a little bit about what happened there and how you got involved?
Sure. So I was never really all that aware of emergency management and the type of work that happens behind the scenes until I took my family and we evacuated the mobile home park that we were living in that was sort of in the path of the Pine Lake tornado. We certainly weren't affected, but in my job, I was the executive director of the United Way of Central Alberta. And it kind of occurred to me that, the goodwill of all these folks in the region across the country were making these donations. And I kept wondering what happens, like who's going to make a decision about where that money goes? And so we actually approached the banks and approached the community in the Pine Lake area. Red Deer County was the one managing the disaster at the time, and just said, hey, would you like United Way to help out, try to figure out how to get these dollars out to the people that were affected the most? We used a community development approach, pulled some of the folks from the community together to help us learn more about the community. And so we had lots of interaction with Red Deer County throughout that process, some of the helping agencies that continued with some of the counseling afterwards. So it was really my entry point, my exposure to emergency management.
So more recently, you've launched a new initiative with your company. Can you just explain about, first of all, what the problem is that you're trying to address, but also what your solution is?
Sure. Maybe I'll just take us one step backwards because after Pine Lake, after my United Way stint, I was at the city of Red Deer for almost 2 decades. And one of my roles there was emergency management or emergency social services. And so I was involved in a number of other events and activations in Red Deer and across the province through the Emergency Social Services Network of Alberta. So that led to recalling a couple of things. emlcanada.ca exists for really 2 purposes. One is it's being designed to build community within the emergency management sector across the country. There's so much value in knowing who you're working with and speaking the same language, sharing best practices, learning with each other, networking across the country. But there's no real online platform that helps to build that for folks or be available when people have the time. So much of the emergency management world is being done by folks who have other jobs and they're doing their emergency management work off the side of their desk. So having a space, an online space where people can connect and build community within the sector was important. I think the other big challenge that we were trying to help was being more efficient in accessing products and services when an event happens. So the logistics side of it, rather than have every municipality and every emergency management group try to maintain their own lists of businesses and organizations that they have to continue to update. We thought, why don't we create a space where those vendors, the NGOs, the different organizations that have products and services and training can list and manage their own information, and then it's there. When you're ready or when you need that information, it's available. You click on emlcanada.ca, and all the product vendors that have signed up are already there. So that's the problem that we were trying to solve: community development, creating an online space, and connecting folks to the products and services they need.
And so if someone wants to get involved, get listed, do they just go to your website and fill out a form, and then they can showcase their products and services, or how does it work?
Exactly that way. When you go to the website, go to the top right-hand corner, there's a little blue button that says Get Listed Today, and it's really meant to be self-service, very easy to be able to log on. And right now, because we're trying to build out the site and get some critical mass going, we're offering the first year free for anybody. If they use a promo code EA2020, so EA 2020, they can sign up for the next year free. And the reason we're doing that is twofold. One, we need to get some critical mass on there, but we also need folks on there to say, this piece works, this piece needs some help, have you thought about doing it this way? So these are sort of our beta test group to say, this site works great. Could you try to do this with it? Can you help us to achieve that? So we're giving those first 100 memberships away for free.
Well, I'm a huge proponent of getting good information and resources out there, because you're right. I mean, in the midst of a disaster, you're not thinking straight. It's hard to find good resources, and so in a downtime, it's really smart to do stuff like this and just get it there, promote where that one central portal is, and then people can access the information they need. So,
and really, it only takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes to build out your profile. And one of the things we put in there was, for a municipality, for example, put your emergency management plan on there. You can upload your PDF emergency management plan, share it. So another community that doesn't have one can log on, find you, download your emergency management plan, and use it as a template to build out their own. It only strengthens the emergency management sector across the country.
Well, thanks very much, Scott. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we wrap up?
No, I mean, if anybody has any questions, we've got a 1-800 number right there on the site. Give us a call. It'll ring on my phone. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have, or reach out via email. We have a contact us right on the site.
Well, I'll put the link to your website below this video, and thanks for taking the time to tell us about your initiative.
Great. Thanks, Leanne.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.